Hello everyone, I'm back today to reboot this old YouTube series with something of a tutorial, or you know what, let's borrow the term from gaming videos. Instead of let's play, this is a let's draw. And just like let's plays, it's going to be low quality commentary of someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Sorry about the abundance of shadows I have going on. This is the little desk I have to work with right now. My computer. This is where my monitor goes. This is me. And you know, that's pretty much my workspace. But it's going to change. It's going to change a lot. I'm going to be in a couple different places over the series of this series. So, what's on my mind? I want to start a tile set for caves and caverns. I've made one. Well, one is in progress for dungeons, and we have one for castle pieces. We got tokens and stuff too. But you know what a staple is of D&D is natural caves, and there's the whole Underdark too. So there's a lot of content that happens underground, and a lot of people who have been asking for underground tunnels in like a tiling system, but I'm undecided on my preferred or best style of cave tunnels. So I'm here today just to brainstorm some, and just to, like my old elevation video, just to bust out a couple of examples and see at the end which one I like best, and perhaps you'll learn something along the way. Let me get my other pen. Okay, so what we're working with today, we have a Mitsubishi Uniball fine line. Maybe you can see it there. And I have this is written in Japanese. I have a brush pen, and I'm going to use that for thick lines, this for thin lines, and see what looks good. I had an idea. Is that better? Maybe that's better, maybe not. It's better for me. So I had an idea. Let me get a pencil too. Okay, this is just a 4B, but I'm not using that for any lines that I'm going to keep. So, my idea was, we have a thin line. Okay, well, we would define the shape of our tunnels with our pencil. I think that's maybe better. Yeah, that's probably better. We have, you know what? Maybe that's better? Yeah, this is fine, this is good. Okay, we define the shape of our tunnel with our pencil. Then with this, we define the ground level where the wall intersects with the ground. Well, this is really bad. But you know, this is just a chaotic rocky mess, so just be real haphazard with your strokes. And then of course with the ground level I like to throw in some rocks and stuff, some rubble, and some just a little bit of mess, just to define, hey, this is ground, this is where things collect. And it yeah, I know, that works, right? And then with this one, our thick line, which doesn't have to be a brush pen, you could just do a couple of passes with this one. But I really like the line character that this gives, and you might be able to see how it works. So with this one, we have, I'm thinking like a 1/2 inch, which converts to a 1/4 inch here of space for the walls. So I'm going around, same sort of shape, chaotic mess. And this will be the upper end of the walls where the kind of, what do you call it? The cross section cut is. Because of course, if you're doing a top-down view of an underground tunnel, this is a tunnel, you're gonna have to chop that down the middle. So this is the cross section. This is also closest to camera, that's why it's thicker. And then I'm gonna be rather meticulous with these lines, try and have them thick where they touch the, sorry, that's my monitor turning off and turning blue. It's going to be thick where it connects with a thick line, and it's going to taper off to thin to give the illusion that it's sloping away. Now, I'm not very experienced with this brush pen yet. I don't have the technique down, definitely not. So I mean, I might be better off using this one, but and you know what, maybe it just works if we vary it up. Vary the thickness and the frequency just to just for visual interest. I think that looks pretty good. That looks like a top-notch tunnel. I think it's very readable. My latest map was the jagged, what name did I use? Jagged Cave, just something simple, yeah. The Jagged Cave. And a lot of people commented on it was difficult to read, and I agree with that. I had too much detail in the floor, and the walls were very little detail, so it was difficult on a couple different levels, but I feel like I've learnt a lot from that, and I can apply that now to my future maps. And hey, here I am applying it now, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. And of course, we can mix in some hatching. It's not a D&D, it's not an RPG battle map without some cross-hatching, is it? And now our pencil lines have all but disappeared already. So yeah, I'm being a little too meticulous for the camera. Maybe I'll speed this along a bit, so that this video isn't 30 minutes long. So this, I like this because the walls are thick, the walls are very well defined, so that the shape of the tunnel is very clear. And it's obvious what is a surface that the players can move along. And it's still got enough detail that it's visually interesting. And you know, I'm tempted to do some rocky shapes on the outside. Let me see how that looks. Maybe. Difficult to say. Because see, now that I've done this, it looks as if this is traversable. This looks like a different level, and maybe it is. But I think if this is just underground, you know, the cross-section cutaway, and this is just raw earth, I think it's best to leave this bit out. Because it's confusing this boundary now. confusing the boundary between playable area and, you know, the raw earth. So, yeah, bad. Don't do that. Don't ever do that again, Ross. Bad. And I'll just mix in some more of these. And see, I call that done. Because KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And then if I had like a really big room and I needed some visual interest in this blank spot, either I'd add more rubble as like difficult terrain, or maybe a slight ledge, slight elevation change, which could just look like that with some rubble at the bottom. I've said in a previous level, I like putting rubble at the bottom of an elevation change because when you look, say this is your ledge and here's your wall. It's not clear. It's not clear. Is this higher or this higher? Is this going down that way or down this way? But if I dump some rubble down here, you're like, okay, well, rubble naturally rolls downhill, and it's kind of like a shorthand for ledge direction. So here, this end's the higher end, and it's sloping down. Maybe there's like a natural descent going down like this. And I feel like something should be in here, maybe a treasure chest. Beautiful. Now the challenge for me is to always just like, okay, take a chill pill, Ross, that's enough. Because on top of this, there's going to be a grid too, which is going to be more visual clutter. And it's all just a game of managing clutter and detail. So I'd call that a good old tunnel. And I think I'm going to use that style for my tile set. But there's another style. If you've seen my cavern set, it's a series of 8 maps used in the module Madness of the Rat King. I'll put a link in the description. My style of that set, which I drew a year or more ago, I didn't have the brush pen yet and I wasn't playing around with line thickness, so it was just this pen, and with that I just defined the shape of the cabin. Then from there I did some random kind of angular outward shapes. I like to think, when I'm thinking about rocks, I'm thinking in triangles and planes that are just angular and kind of geomorphic. Is that even a word? Is that an artistic term? And they're sloping out and away from the ground, so that you get this kind of upwards feel. So I did that. Then step 1. Step 1 was cavern shape. Step 2, doing these lines, spraying out from the border. And step 3, I came in on these lines and I just did hatching, sometimes defining different lines. But this is just kind of Dyson hatching on a bunch of predefined planes. And then I'd also expanded a bit just so that it wasn't a very obvious, just so that the faded edge of the hatching was more visually interesting. And then I'd continue that around and around. And you know, I'm still not sure. This is nice, and this is nice. And I guess it's just a matter of an art style evolving. Like where I once found this interesting to draw and interesting to look at, my taste has gone much more towards this. I really like and enjoy drawing different line thicknesses. Because again, it's playing the balancing game with detail and clutter, and using different line thickness. It's different elements. You know, it makes it less tiring to look at. This I find, even though there's much more detail in here, it looks simpler and it looks kind of more amateur, but maybe that's just because that's what I was drawing when I was more amateur, and hard to say. So maybe you look at this, and I've shown you how to draw both, and you can decide for yourself which one you're going to use for your game. And I wonder, my screen's gone blue again. I wonder if there's anything else I can help with. Oh, someone did ask how to draw stalagmites. And all I'd say is a stalagmite is much like this. You have your room. Let's use this room. In the middle of your room, you're going to have something also which comes up to the cutaway point. So we're going to say this is a stalagmite. We're going to draw its boundaries. Maybe it has some rubble at the bottom. Rule of threes, people. Then we define, hey, at its cutaway, it's going to cut away at this level. And then for this, you know what, let's do two different sorts. So we can use this style and just give it some like this. And this is more a pillar than a stalagmite, I guess. But there you go. And of course, when I color it, I'll color this center bit the same color as the surrounds, and that'll make it very obvious what you're looking at. So let me draw two more. Of course, I'm not doing a perfect circle because stalagmites are definitely not precise circles. So two styles I would do, and I'm not sure which one I prefer yet because this is the first time I'm drawing both. We'd start off same style as this fella. This style, you do your sloping away lines. And you know what I think would work better is just kind of like a spiraling shape. And what I'd do is I would draw the spiral in with my fine liner, and then for this maybe upper half I'd trace back over, and that would give it a thicker line. And then as that goes down maybe to halfway, I'd start tapering it off, and that gives the same illusion as we have here, where what's called the lines closer to the camera are thicker, and as they slope away they get further away and they get thinner and finer, and even the detail would drop off. And then maybe throw in, here's a stalagmite that doesn't reach the roof, and so it doesn't have a cutaway, so it just goes up to a point. So we got a tall stalagmite, a short stalagmite, and we got some rubble in between. And that looks convincing to me, right? Stalagmite. And you know, while we're talking about caves and rocks and walls, this rubble, an easy thing to draw and a hard thing to explain. If you just watch my pen as I draw it, I'm just drawing, making an effort as I just basically scribble to mix small angular shapes with large angular shapes, and maybe I'll throw in an extra large one and put a line through it just to look like, you know, an extra large rock, a significant rock. And then small and large shapes mixed together to create some interesting rubble. And then I also think about, as I'm doing this, the overall shape, and often I'll sketch it in with my pencil because I want the overall shape of the rubble to also look interesting. So that looks like an interesting shape to me, so I go about filling all this in with rubble, and my end result will be an interesting shape. Because the eye glosses over individual rocks and just sees large shapes, and to make a visually appealing map, you're playing with large shapes. Like even this tunnel, that's why I penciled it in first, because I wanted the tunnel to have an interesting shape. So that is my first Let's Draw, and I wonder if I'll keep that name going forward, but that's me drawing some tunnels and settling on what happened to be my first try, but settling on a style which I'll go forward with, assuming the comments are kind. So, if you like this style of video, please let me know, and let me know what other content, what other subjects you'd like me to cover, and I'll be happy to come back and give you a bird's eye view of my work process in the future. So, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time.